Rena. Live healthy, eat happy, feel beautiful. The power lies in you. Unlock it today.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm Rena Greenberg. Thank you so much. So many of you have signed up for today's session, which is very, very timely. Releasing anxiety in stressful times. So before we begin, I just want to make sure so many of you are chatting. Hi, Joe. Hi, Lydia, Julie, Kathy, Nancy. Please let me know that you can hear me. If you could just chat in and let me know that you can hear me and see me. And there's a little bit of delay, so I'm just going to wait. Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for coming. Let's see. Patty, hello. Hello, Destiny. Yes, you can hear and see me. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Well, let's jump in. And again, I just want to welcome you all and thank you so much for coming. Hundreds of you signed up. And I know many of you have come on live this evening, and then many of you are going to be watching the replay. So thank you so much. I'm very, very excited to guide you through a hypnosis. Again, we can all use it right now, how to release anxiety, tension, fear in stressful times. So, to look for a silver lining. And I hope and pray that as time goes on, we will find even more and more silver linings and blessings, as so often in our own personal life, when we go through difficult times, at the time it can be very, very difficult. But often when we look back, we can find that gifts and blessings came. So one that I think is here right now is that, so often when we go through difficult, challenging times in our life, could be divorce, some kind of loss, personal grieving, sickness, so many things. And what happens is when we go through these kind of individual difficulties, so often we feel so alone. And often that's the hardest part, because we look out at the world and it seems like everybody's going on with their life and seems like everybody seems so happy. And and here we are going through this difficulty, maybe taking care of a sick parent or child, or our own health may have failed. So I'd have to say that I think a silver lining here is that what is so clear is that we're in this together. We're all going through this together. And that can be a beautiful thing. And so one of my goals for tonight, for all of us, is to really feel that connection, that support from one another, and to be able to give the support to one another, but also opening to receive. And that's such a big part. And that's something that we're going to go through tonight with the hypnosis, is really opening our hearts to receive all the support that is here for us, both in the physical and in the spiritual. So let's take a moment to gather together. I know even though we're all pretty much home, it can still be stressful. Even if you don't turn it on, people that you live with may be turning on the television. I mean, you can't really escape the energy that's happening right now for all of us. It's very strong, and there is a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. And so we often, we're like a sponge. Often we absorb that unknowingly. And so let's take a moment to gather together and just sort of center ourselves and put the day aside. But so in a moment, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. But before you do, I want to talk to you about that for a moment. What's the benefit of closing your eyes? And so the reason I'm going to ask you in a moment to close your eyes, is because one of the quickest and easiest ways to change your physiology, to change your brain waves, the brainwave pattern, is to close your eyes. So what do I mean by that? Well, in normal, everyday waking life, our mind is chattering. we're judging, we're criticizing, we may be worrying, or we may be planning, thinking, coming up with all kinds of ideas. So it's not always a bad thing, but the reality is that the mind is chattering. And when it's chattering, we are activating the beta brainwaves. Those are the faster brainwaves. And even if it's excitement or joy, it can create stress on the body if we really tune in. It can create a sense of tightening. But what happens when we close our eyes is that we immediately invoke the alpha level of brain waves, which many of you are familiar with or heard about. And these are the brain waves characterized by daydreaming, meditation, relaxation. And then as we continue to relax deeper and deeper and even go into sleep, we begin to activate the theta and the delta brain waves as we go deeper and deeper. So it's really exciting that just the simple act of closing our eyes and becoming aware of our breathing can have an amazing physiological benefit, for the body. And so I started out as a biofeedback therapist in New York City, and I was working at a pain clinic, and I really saw firsthand how the mind affects the body. So what biofeedback is, for any of you who aren't familiar with it, is that biofeedback instruments do nothing. In other words, when you get hooked up to biofeedback instruments, they are simply measuring like a mirror or like a scale that gives you feedback about your weight. The biofeedback instruments give you feedback about the status of your brain waves, your blood pressure, your heart rate, your skin temperature, the sweating response, which is a response that's used in a lie detector test. And so what the biofeedback instruments do by being hooked up and using this mirror, the biofeedback instruments, we learn. But how do we learn to change the physiology? Through self-hypnosis techniques. And so as a biofeedback therapist, it was very exciting to see how through the hypnosis techniques, it's not just a feel-good thing. It's not just to achieve goals in our life, although those are some of the benefits of hypnosis, but it's also the opportunity to actually change what's happening in the body, to lower the blood pressure, to when we warm the temperature in our fingers and our toes, how does that happen? Well, it's because the blood vessels are dilating. So you've heard about the fight or flight response. When we get scared, we want to be aggressive and fight, or often we want to withdraw and retreat, and neither is particularly helpful. So Dr. Herbert Benson, a Harvard doctor, came up with the term the relaxation response as opposed to the fight or flight response. And when that's activated, we can really connect to the deeper power within ourselves. So we're improving our health on every level, not just our physical health, but also our mental health, our emotional health. And we're just able to, when we shut off that fight or flight response, we're just able to make better decisions. We're able to think more clearly, and we're able to respond to any situation more effectively. So even with all the sort of the panic that's happening now, we don't know, are we overreacting? Are we underreacting? We hear so many different things, and it's coming at us from all directions. And if you're like me, you're probably getting emails and texts and phone calls from loved ones, all over and friends all over the country. And so there is a lot of information out there. We don't really always know how to discern. And so, of course, we want to take all the precautions that we're being advised to. But at the same time, when we connect into the heart, which the hypnosis can help us to do, then we can come from a place of strength and wisdom rather than just a panic and a reaction. And that's what we're going to be doing here this evening. But before we do, let's take a moment then. And if you're comfortable doing so, close your eyes, and we'll take a moment now to just center ourselves. So just become aware of your breathing and the movement of your breathing as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Become aware of the movement as you breathe in. The air slowly filling your lungs, your chest expanding with each breath. And become aware of the movement as you breathe out. The air slowly leaving your lungs, your chest returning to normal rest. And as you become aware of your breathing, notice you're able to feel more and more comfortable, more and more at ease. And I want you to take a moment and imagine that we're all together as we are. Imagine there's no time and space separating us, and we're here together in this moment. All of us from all over the world. And imagine that we're in a large circle. Now, you may want to imagine that we're comfortably distanced apart, even six feet apart. That's totally fine. But just imagine that the circle is expanded as large as it needs to be so that we can all comfortably fit in this circle. And you can imagine that we're in this circle wherever it's comfortable for you, either in a very, very large room, or you may imagine that we're outside on a beach somewhere or in a meadow, surrounded by a garden. Just imagine we're all together. And imagine that in the center of our circle is a beam of light coming down from the heavens above the sky, coming down through the sky, coming down into the center of our circle. If we're inside, imagine that this beam of light permeates any roof, any ceiling, comes down into the center of our circle, and then flows all the way down into the center of the earth, reminding us to connect to the earth. The earth is here to support us, to hold us, no matter what's happening. The earth's strength is always beneath us. And as you feel that light, that beam of light in the center of our circle going down into the center of the earth, making contact with that hot molten core as it passes through all the layers of the earth, imagine feeling your own body grounding down, feeling your feet on the earth, on the ground, supporting you. Imagine your own body has roots and you're rooted to the earth. Imagine there's a beam of light moving through your own body. It may be a more narrow diameter than the beam in the center of our circle, but it also comes from above, from the heavens, through the sky, all the way down, dropping into the top of your head, flowing down your body, and down into the center of the earth. And just breathing, feeling our connection to ourselves, feeling the connection in your own heart. And imagine as you feel this beam of light in the center of our circle, imagine the beam has spokes like a wheel. And these spokes are rays of light like the sun going into each of our hearts. Imagine you can feel this ray of light coming into your own heart and bathing you with light. As each of us receives this beautiful healing ray of light, like the sun, from this beam of light that's in the center of our circle. And imagine this light is filling you with safety and protection. And imagine these words written in light inside of you. I am safe, written in your heart, in your chest. I am safe, breathing that sentence deep into your heart. I am safe. I am protected, breathing those words into your heart, written in light in your heart. I am love. I am connected with all of life. Feeling all your muscles letting go, loose and limp like a rag doll. I am safe. I am protected. I am loved. I am free. I am connected to all of life. Feeling our connection with one another. Sending a beam of gratitude to each other. Opening to receive all the gratitude that is being sent to you. Filling with this gratitude as you send gratitude. Appreciation for all of us being here to receive and share with one another. And when you're ready, very gently opening your eyes, coming back into the room. Okay, welcome back. So for those of you who don't know me, I just want to introduce myself. So again, my name is Rena Greenberg, and just a brief background is at the age of 26, and many of you already know the story, but I got very sick. In fact, so sick, I walked into the ER thinking I would be dismissed because I had been sick for a year. No one knew what was wrong with me. But instead, I was whisked into the emergency room, sent directly to the cardiac care unit. I was told my heart was beating at less than 30 beats per minute. And the only thing keeping me alive was my age, is what they told me. And the chief of cardiology actually said to me after doing a test on my heart and looking at it with a scope, he said that I have the heart of an 80-year-old. And I was 26. So after 3 weeks in cardiac care, I was discharged with a permanent pacemaker in my heart. But I didn't feel healthy. In fact, I was a mess. And so I began to study everything I could about health. I began to study herbs, nutrition, and it was all fascinating to me. I learned so much, and I was able to change so much in my life. But the area that fascinated me the most was the power of the mind. Once I discovered biofeedback and hypnosis, I was hooked. And once I was able to apply the tools and techniques in my own life to make incredible changes I never would have dreamed possible, I wanted to help others. And I created a program that was then reviewed and sponsored in over 75 hospitals. It's been a true blessing. And my program is to help people to lose weight, to stop smoking, and to achieve overall wellness. And I was also invited to come on site to over 100 major corporations, including Walt Disney World, Home Depot, AT&T, to help their employees. So it's really been a blessing. I've worked with over 100,000 people. But really, the takeaway that I learned is that no matter what we want to achieve, whether it's breaking a habit, whether it's improving our relationships, whether it's relieving anxiety during stressful times, whatever it is, we cannot do it with the conscious analytical mind alone. In other words, we cannot force things to change. And that's what I love about hypnosis. It gives us a tool to go deeper within and connect with the infinite power of the subconscious mind and the heart. And that's what we're going to be doing in a few moments. Because as we were saying a few moments ago, I mean, we are in very uncertain times and we don't even know what's the appropriate action in many ways. We don't know. Again, are we overacting? Are we underreacting? We're unsure. And even though in time we're going to have more clarity, of course, God willing, but for now, by releasing anxiety, we can access that wiser, stronger, healthier, more resilient part of yourself. So what I want to say now is that releasing anxiety is a choice that each one of us can make. Now, I know that might sound strange. It might sound like, what do you mean a choice? Because, we feel this tension, this anxiety in our body. I know I'm not saying it's easy, but one thing we have to remember to make it a lot easier is that what does fear feed on? What creates more fear? And the answer is fear. So it's this ever or never ending cycle that continues, that's perpetuated unless we make a decision, a choice to make a change. And that's why so many of you have come here tonight. And I appreciate your courage in wanting to do that. Because by making the courageous choice to release anxiety, what you're doing is you're setting the stage for a better tomorrow. So the first step is going to be awareness. And hypnosis is a wonderful tool to help you to develop that awareness, because most of the time we are not really aware of our own level of fear and our own effect on others. In other words, we're much more aware, sort of a trick of the mind, we're much more aware of other people's effect on us, what their impact on us is, how their behavior makes us feel, how their words make us feel. But do we ever stop to ponder, what's our effect on other people? And not just other people. Do you ever stop to ask yourself, what is the effect of your fear on you? How does your own energy make you feel? And, this is not an excuse to judge yourself or criticize yourself at all. It's to become more aware, because without awareness, we can't make any change. So we kind of want to just very gentle. We want to be very gentle with ourselves. We want to say, do I spread comfort with my energy? And not just to others, again, to myself. Do I spread comfort to myself? Or am I just making myself more and more fearful? Do I radiate love or do I radiate fear? And we're not striving for perfection here, but it's just every moment becoming aware of this. The Course in Miracles, which is such a profound spiritual book. I love that book, The Course in Miracles. And what I love most is they talk about the idea that choosing love or fear is not a one-time choice. So it's not, oh yeah, back in 2006, I chose love, so now my life should just all be perfect. No, it's moment to moment, day by day. We want to make that choice over and over again. So the question is, how can we radiate love? How do we radiate this love and this hope to ourselves and to others when the reality is, and we don't want to lie to ourselves, but the reality may be that we're filled with fear, we're filled with uncertainty, we're filled with anxiety. So how are we just supposed to make the switch? Well, the reality is that we do have the ability to change the channel, and that's what I'm going to be guiding you through a hypnosis to help you. Because again, if you could have done it with the conscious mind alone, you already would have. So I realize it's not as simple as it sounds, and yet it can be done. And here's how. To deal with the circumstances in this physical world that can be so challenging, there's only one way to do it. Oh, we can try to do a lot of things in the physical world to make things better, a lot of, trying to put out fires here and there, and that's okay. Some of that might be helpful, but the reality is the only way to really rise up and handle what's happening in the physical and be able to help others, which is so important, to be able to be a light to help others, is to turn inward and draw on the strength of the non-physical. So how do we do that? Well, first, I want you to realize that it's absolutely possible, because you might be thinking, well, that isn't possible because I'm full of fear. How am I supposed to, invoke the strength of the non-physical? Well, think about when you're watching a movie. Aren't you able to double track, to do two things simultaneously? For example, you're sitting in the movie theater. So even though you may forget, it leaves your awareness, but you're in a chair, your arms may be on the armrest. There's people to the right of you, to the left of you. You might hear someone chewing popcorn and you have that awareness. But when the movie starts, you're immediately captivated by the events on the screen. And when one of the characters that you've become, feel connected with dies, you might cry. And when there's a gunshot, you might cringe. And why does this happen? Because you wanted to. Because you want to suspend your connection to the reality of the chair for a little while, to have the joy of being a part of this movie and a part of these characters' lives. But by doing so, we realize that we can simultaneously be in two realities at once. So we can be, and we are, in the physical world, and we are living by physical laws that are often difficult and challenging. But at the same time, we can draw on the strength of the non-physical. So the mind has the capacity to perceive more than one reality at a time. So we literally can put ourselves on a new and a different track. So just because you're aware of the fear in yourself and the fear around you, that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to make it an identity. Because no matter how much the people around you may be projecting their fears onto you, and believe me, I know that's a challenge, especially if you're very empathic and you tend to absorb things like I do too. But no matter how much of that fear is around you, you can create a field of safety so that you're still responding. Remember, it's not fight or flight. You don't have to be aggressive and argue with the person. You don't need to withdraw from them. You can still open your heart and compassion, but at the same time, you can feel safe and calm. And it does take practice. So hypnosis in self-hypnosis and these tools is something that you really do want to practice, but it's so worth it. And the reality is that you have changed your identity many times in this life already. If you think about it, I'm sure you can come up with many examples, but one that comes to mind for me is the idea of becoming a parent. Remember, before you became a parent, you never would have dreamed of the amount of responsibility required, right? None of us would. But once you become a parent, you really step up. And it doesn't take long. It's almost instant when that baby comes through that you have now shifted your identity to being mom or dad, and other things that were so important to you before become far less important because you are willingly embracing this new identity. So in the same way, you have immense strength within you that can be tapped into, and you can actually begin to identify with this new strength more and more. And you can look back and say, it was easier than I thought. You really can. And so where is that safety? It's in the heart. So the heart is a doorway to the deeper power within. And when we're afraid, really, there's nowhere else to turn. And again, we might try to go outward, seeking everything outward. But in the end, we realize that the only place to turn for that strength, that courage, that power is within, and that in the heart. And that's the only place to take refuge. And when I talk about the heart, it's not really a metaphor. It's actually a place within you. So it's, the mind has its place, but the heart is really where the power is. And we want to invoke that power. So hypnosis is a tool to tap into the power in the heart and also the power of the imagination. Because when you imagine yourself calm and happy, this, and using all your senses and making it real, and you imagine yourself being a source of strength and support for yourself and others, the subconscious part of the mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So today we're going to go through a hypnosis experience to help relieve the anxiety that's happening in these stressful times. But you may be concerned. You may think, well, I'm feeling so stressed. What if I can't be hypnotized? And the good thing is, I like to say this, the fact is, of course you can be hypnotized. How do I know? Because we're already hypnotized. We are hypnotized by the media, by advertising, by the news, by politicians. We cannot help it because as human beings, we are susceptible to suggestions and to images. And hypnosis is a natural state. Every morning when we wake up, every night when we fall asleep, we naturally pass through a state of hypnosis. When you're driving, you might have been on an 8-hour drive, and all of a sudden you're close to your destination and you miss your exit. How does that happen? Well, you went into a trance. You didn't think you were hypnotized per se, but you literally went into an altered state. So it's a natural state that we can all achieve. However, if you're concerned about being hypnotized, realize this: it's nothing that you can force. Just like we can't force sleep, we can only prepare ourselves to go to sleep. Well, hypnosis is like a mental massage. You just have to allow yourself to receive. So let's prepare for the hypnosis. And if you haven't already, I hope you did at the beginning of the call, but please shut off any phones. Make sure you're not getting text alerts. Just make sure you won't be disturbed, because this is really a gift that you're giving to yourself. So even if your beliefs or experiences are that you can't be hypnotized, it's okay. You can still get a benefit. And in fact, before we do the hypnosis, let's take a moment to just invoke some compassion, to send some compassion to yourself, especially if you don't have any of those fears of, can I be hypnotized or not? So in a moment, I'm going to have you open your eyes again. But for now, just close your eyes if you're comfortable. And just again, just begin to feel your body, your breath. And I want you to just place your hand on the center of your chest and your heart. That's right, just placing your hand here in your heart, center in your chest. And I want you to say to yourself, whether or not I can be hypnotized, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Whether or not I can be hypnotized, whether or not I can relax, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I open to receive all the compassion that my spirit is sending to me now. Imagine your heart opening to receive. And if you're comfortable, just open your eyes and we will go right into the hypnosis now. So with your eyes open, I want you to look up and find a point above you to focus on. Concentrate on the point above you. And as you go towards your ceiling, and as you concentrate on the point, I want you to open your peripheral vision so that you're aware of everything in the room to the right of you, but you're focused on the point above you. You're aware of everything to the left of you, focused on the point, looking up towards the ceiling. You're aware of the space in the room, the objects, feeling your body resting here. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in and hold it. Exhale, close your eyes. Good. Let your eyes relax. Let your head and neck be comfortable, falling down into your chest, and then just positioning your head and neck so head and neck is completely comfortable, and just listening to the sound of my voice. Thoughts may come into your mind. You might be distracted by a sound, but you just bring yourself back to the sound of my voice. My voice will relax you and soothe you. Soon you'll be able to go deeper and deeper into the state of peacefulness, where there are no concerns, no worries, no bother. And I want you to become aware of your breathing and the movement of your breathing as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Become aware of the movement as you breathe in, the air slowly filling your lungs, Your chest expanding with each breath. Become aware of the movement as you breathe out. The air slowly leaving your lungs. Your chest returning to normal breath. And as you become aware of your breathing, notice you're able to feel more and more comfortable, more and more at ease. And when you're ready, take another nice, big, deep breath, filling your lungs with air and holding it. And letting it out slowly, slowly, feeling the control you have over that breath. Just allowing any remaining tension to leave your body with the breath. And now breathing easily, gently, and naturally. With every breath you take, feeling more and more at ease. And I want you to bring your awareness now to your eyes. Concentrate on your eyes. Concentrate on all the tiny muscles behind and around your eye. And I want you to use your imagination and pretend that your eye muscles are so relaxed that they just won't work. Use your imagination and pretend that your eye muscles are so relaxed that they just won't work. And when you are absolutely convinced that your eye muscles are locked shut, when you are absolutely convinced that your eye muscles are locked shut, go on and roll your eyes up to the top of your head as if you were gazing at an imaginary hole. Testing, and stop testing and let that quality of relaxation flow from your eyes like a wave from the top of your head down, down, down to the tips of your toes. And imagine now a brilliant light, a radiant color dropping into the top of your head, filling your whole head, your whole face with soothing, peaceful, healing relaxation. Imagine this brilliant light, this radiant color, filling all that space between your ears, behind your eyes, smoothing out all the tiny lines around and behind your eyes, filling the space behind your cheeks and nostrils, filling your lips, your tongue, your gums with soothing relaxation, and allowing your jaw to go loose and limp by parting your lips and your teeth slightly. That's it, allowing your jaw to go limp and slack by parting your lips and your teeth slightly, your jaw loosely hanging down, all the sensations so pleasurable. And this brilliant light, this radiant color flowing down, filling your neck and your throat and your shoulders, flowing down your arms all the way down into your hands, into your fingers and your fingertips. Notice any sensations in and around your fingers and fingertips. Perhaps there's a warmth or a coolness or a tingling sensation. Perhaps there's a heaviness or a lightness. These sensations are always here, but notice how good it feels to become aware of the feelings in and around your fingers and fingertips. And this brilliant light, this radiant color filling your whole torso, your back, your spine, your chest, your belly, and all the space in between, permeating every organ, every muscle, every bone, every cell, every fiber of your being with soothing, peaceful, healing, relaxation. Imagine this brilliant light, this radiant color flowing down, filling your hips and your base, down into your thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet, and toes, allowing the ground beneath you to support you, allowing the earth to hold you up. There's nothing you need to do or think about right now. If thoughts come into your mind, simply allow them to pass like clouds in the sky of your vast mind. Breathing in and out of your chest, feeling the fullness here. This is the place that houses your deep heart, not the heart that beats, but the heart that loves, your metaphorical heart. The doorway to your vast, brilliant, creative, intelligent, subconscious mind. And to help you to access this place, if you haven't already, I invite you now to place your hand on your upper chest and imagine two tiny nostrils underneath your hand, as if you could breathe directly in and out of your chest. Two tiny nostrils underneath your hand placed high on your chest, breathing in and out, feeling the fullness here. And to help you to connect with this place even more, I invite you now to recall or imagine a time, a place where you could feel safe, protected, and connected with all of life. Recall or imagine a time, a place where you could feel safe, protected, and connected with all of life. Perhaps a time in nature, a beautiful, magnificent vista, a majestic sunrise or a sunset, all the colors vivid, bright, close, and clear, all the sounds soothing, the silence surrounding all sounds soothing. Feel all the pleasurable sensations, a time when all time seemed to stop. Perhaps listening to beautiful music, creating music, art, a garden. Recall or imagine a time, a place where you could feel safe, protected, and connected with all of life. And just allow your mind to rest. Any thoughts dropping out of your mental field, that space between your ears, down into your chest, as if your thoughts could be written there and dissolving. And from deep inside yourself now, allow a word, phrase, symbol, or picture describing this place to come to you. Perhaps it's a symbol of faith, or a word or a phrase describing this place, describing the quality of this place, the peace, the love, the safety. Imagine this word, phrase, symbol, or picture written in light deep in the center of your heart, surrounded by the most brilliant light that you can imagine. With every breath you take, the light growing brighter, more brilliant, more radiant. With every breath you take, the light filling you with this quality of peace, peace, peace. And I want you to imagine now that you could see yourself in front of you exactly as you are, your life situation exactly as it is, as if you were gazing at your reflection in a mirror. And I want you to send yourself compassion. Send yourself compassion for everything that you have been through, everything that you're going through, how this crisis in the world is affecting you personally, your loved ones. And open your heart. Open your heart to receive all the compassion that's here for you. Open your heart to receive the way you'd open a door or open an accordion. Your heart opening like a fragrant flower in the sun to receive this compassion for yourself. And as you fill with compassion, imagine now there is a new strength being born within you. Strength is coming up from the center of the earth, through the ground, through the floor. Strength is filling you from the top of your head, down, down, down to the tips of your toes. And as you fill with the strength, imagine that you are now basking in a field of strength and compassion. Imagine now that you are bathing in an infinite field of strength and compassion. That's right. Imagine a field of strength and compassion within you and around you. And as you do, once again, tune into the fact that we're all together here. Imagine again that you are in this circle. And instead of standing, you can stand if you like, or you may prefer to imagine yourself in a recliner or in a comfortable seat. And imagine that this whole circle with hundreds of us, almost 800 of you signed up to be on this call, either live or on the replay. Imagine this large circle, hundreds and hundreds of us, at a comfortable distance apart from one another, and yet, and though we may be standing or sitting, imagine this beam of light coming down from the heavens through the sky. The beam of light comes from infinity. It's eternal, coming down the center of our circle, going down into the earth, reminding us to ground, to imagine those roots going from our body, from our base, from our feet and legs and our hips down into the earth, feeling the safety of that solid earth beneath us. And the rays of light coming out from that beam in the center like spokes on a wheel, touching each of our hearts. And take a moment now to feel that ray of light in your heart with safety, protection, love, serenity, peace. Feeling your connection to the earth. And I want you to imagine these words written in light inside of you. There is an infinite power within me that protects me from all harm and guides me to my greatest good. There is an infinite power within me that protects me from all harm and guides me to my highest and best destiny. This phrase written in light inside of you is being whispered through your heart by your spirit. There's an infinite power within me that protects me from all harm and guides me to my highest, best destiny. And I want you to imagine, as you feel these words, with every breath you take, being more and more embedded deeply into your heart and your soul, filling you with a sense of safety and protection as if you were covered by a blanket of safety and protection. I want you to imagine that in front of you, you could hold in your hands, if you would like, the planet Earth. Imagine the planet Earth right in front of you there, so much so that you could hold it in your hands. And imagine the billions of people all over the globe as you hold this planet in your hands. And imagine these words whispered in your heart and in the hearts of all of us together here in this moment in time, as we send these words out, these words to comfort all of the people, the beings on this planet Earth. There's an infinite power within us that protects us from all harm and guides us to our highest and best destiny. Holding the planet and sending out these words, and the words are written more and more deeply in your own heart, that it's so much so that it's completely effortless for you to transmit the light of these words as you are filled with them, from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. These words written in light in your heart, as we repeat them silently together. There is an infinite power within us that protects us from all harm and guides us to our highest and best destiny. Bowing your mind to your heart, knowing that it's time for the conscious analytical mind to bow to the magnificence, to the brilliance, to the genius of the heart, our connection to infinite eternal wisdom, infinite eternal strength, infinite eternal love, guiding us to the wisest responses, individually and collectively. There's an infinite power within us that protects us from all harm and guides us to our highest and best destiny. We are safe, we are protected, we are loved, we are connected with all of life, we are together, we are whole. And just breathing these words into your own heart at a pace that is comfortable for you. And knowing that every time you return here, you are able to go deeper and deeper. And these suggestions become more and more embedded in your subconscious mind. And your response is easy and effortless. And imagine yourself waking up in the morning in the days, weeks, and months ahead, feeling calm, feeling strong, feeling your place on this earth, feeling yourself as a source of strength and leadership, serving yourself, knowing that all your needs are met, and from there, serving others in whatever way you are called, trusting your intuition, trusting your inner heart and mind to show you, to guide you as you ask. You ask your inner mind and heart, please show me, please guide me. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. And each and every time you re-enter hypnosis, you're able to go deeper and deeper. The suggestions become more embedded in your subconscious mind. You're able to respond easily and automatically. You have inside of you now an inner strength, a spiritual strength. You're absolutely determined to succeed in achieving your highest and best destiny, your highest and best outcome. You are succeeding, and in a moment now, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, you'll open your eyes feeling wonderfully refreshed and alert, retaining all the positive feelings, all the insights you've gained as I count to now 1. Slowly and gently coming back into the room. 2, retaining all the positive feelings, all the insights you've gained. 3, saying yes to health, yes to life, yes to new beginnings. And 4, eyes open, coming back into the room. And 5, eyes open, wide awake, wide awake. Okay, welcome back. Take your time coming back into the room. I hope you were able to receive that experience. Oh, Susan, good. This is wonderful, wonderful. Okay, good. Yeah, I hope that you all were able to experience it. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, Eileen, saying that you have symptoms of the virus. God bless you. Grateful for the replay. Thank you. I loved it, Julie. Okay, great. Oh, it was wonderful. You kept restoring. Okay, wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad, so glad. Oh, I'm so happy you enjoyed it, Alexandra. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm going to take questions in a moment. So, okay, fabulous. Good. I'm so glad you were there. Excellent. I'm glad. Okay. All right, Patty. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Well, I'll go back to you guys. I'll go back to the chat in a second. There's a couple things I want to talk to you about. And then at the end, I'm going to, thank you, Beth. I'm glad you liked it. So I would love to continue to support you. Now, one thing I want to tell you about hypnosis is that you do want to repeat it. The more you practice self-hypnosis, first of all, the deeper you're able to go, the more you're able to benefit. So each time that you practice, it's like a skill, like playing the piano. You actually it becomes easier and easier. So you'll often hear people say, or I can't meditate, I can't relax. Well, it's a skill that we do have to practice. It's like we're building a pathway in the subconscious part of the mind. And this is a pathway of health, happiness, and freedom. So it really is a pleasure to support you, and I would be honored to continue to support you. I do these live calls every month. That's right. I have an Inner Circle program where I do live monthly hypnosis and coaching calls. My Inner Circle Plus, the Inner Circle comes with many other benefits. And actually, I have a special for all of you on the call. I'm offering a 50% off discount. You can cancel at any time. You go month by month. And again, I was able to reduce the price by 50%. This is the Inner Circle, and it says for past and present clients, but all of you who have been on the call with me, really the call was only open to people who are either Rena's organic customers or Easy Willpower, have been following me on either of those 2 websites. So obviously, it's a very stressful time, and I want to support you. I do these live calls every month. There's going to be 50% off. And this is just one story of Daryl, who lost 123 pounds with my program. I'm so proud of him. I love Daryl. And it's been really exciting to go on TV, not just with Daryl, but there's been dozens and dozens of my clients who have gone on TV with me on the Doctor Show, CNN, Fox, Good Morning America, Nightline, PBS. It's really been a blessing. And there's more success stories if you go straight to easywillpower.com/specials. I would love to continue to support you. It really means so much to me to have you on this journey. I call it the journey to health, happiness, and freedom. So I so appreciate your time. I am opening up the chat again. Any of you have questions? Okay, George, I'm glad you're going to listen to the replay. Any other questions before we close? Any questions, anything? I'm more than happy to help you. You can also shoot me an email if you have a personal question. Okay, well, then I want to thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And God bless you. And I look forward to staying in touch with you. Thank you so much.
Power lies in you, so unlock it today. Easy willpower with Rena. Live healthy, eat happy, feel beautiful. The power lies in you. Unlock it.